Hey, and welcome to our explainer. Every time you take a medicine, whether it's a simple painkiller or something more serious, you're putting your trust in a system you can't even see. It's this silent, incredibly detailed process working in the background to make sure what you're taking is safe and effective. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the actual blueprint for that safety.
Just think about that for a second. We're talking millions upon millions of pills and vials being produced every single day. And every last one has to be perfect. How on earth is that even possible? Well, it's not magic, and it's definitely not luck. It all comes down to a really powerful three-letter acronym.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by figuring out what an SOP actually is. Then we'll see why it's basically Pharma's safety shield. We'll break down the three big questions every SOP has to answer, look at what happens when things go wrong, because that's where it gets serious, and then we'll uncover the secret to what makes a good SOP.
All right, let's get right into it. First things first, what in the world is an SOP?
Okay, so a standard operating procedure, or SOP, is pretty much what it says on the tin. The best way to think about it is like a recipe, but instead of baking a cake, you're performing a critical task in making medicine. It is a super detailed written guide that means anyone, as long as they have the right training, can do a job the exact same way every single time.
So the definition seems simple enough, right? A recipe. But in the world of pharmaceuticals, how it's used is, well, it's everything. This is where that simple guide becomes an absolutely non-negotiable shield protecting patient safety.
And this is why that shield is so vital. See, in pharma, consistency isn't just about making a good product. It's a matter of public health. Every single batch of a drug has to have the exact same purity, the same strength, the same quality as the one that came before it. There is absolutely zero room for error, because when it comes to medicine, a little different can be incredibly dangerous. SOPs are the foundation of that guarantee.
So, what's actually inside one of these super important recipes? Well, let's break it down. Every good SOP has to answer three core questions with total, absolute clarity.
First, what is the job we're doing? Second, how, in minute detail, do we do it? And third, who is the person responsible for getting it done, and maybe who checks their work? A really well-written SOP leaves absolutely nothing to chance. It spells out the task, the method, and who's accountable, leaving no room for guesswork.
And believe me, their reach is massive. We're not just talking about the main production line. SOPs control, well, pretty much everything, from how you handle raw materials when they first arrive, to the big manufacturing steps, to how you clean equipment, how you test things in the lab. They even cover how to handle mistakes and how to train people. It's basically the operational DNA of the entire company.
Okay, so that's the ideal world. Now, let's flip the coin. What happens when this whole system starts to break down? This is where the stakes get incredibly high really fast.
And this is the absolute core of the problem. Without that written procedure, people have to rely on their memory. And look, human memory is just not perfect. We all forget things. We take shortcuts. We have off days. In most jobs, that's okay. But in this industry, a tiny memory slip can lead to a huge, potentially harmful mistake.
The difference couldn't be more stark. Look at this. With SOPs, you get consistency, you get quality, and you stay compliant. Without them, you're basically inviting errors, deviations, and a whole world of pain when the auditors show up. It's a clear choice between having control and just chaos.
And you can bet the regulators have very clear expectations. When an auditor walks through that door, they need to see three things, no exceptions. One, that you have SOPs for all your critical jobs. Two, that your staff have the training records to prove they know them. And three, this is the big one, that what people are actually doing on the floor perfectly matches what the SOP says they should be doing.
And these are the classic ways companies get tripped up during an audit. An inspector finds someone using an old, outdated version of an SOP, or they ask for an employee's training record and, oops, it's missing. But the biggest red flag of all, watching someone do their job and realizing it looks nothing like the official procedure. These are major, major compliance failures.
Okay, enough of the scary stuff. Let's talk about the solution. How do you create an SOP that's not just a piece of paper to keep an auditor happy, but a tool that people actually want to use?
A great SOP really boils down to four things. It's written in plain, simple language that anyone can understand. It's practical. It matches what really happens out on the floor. It's respected, so people follow it to the letter. And maybe most importantly, it's a living document. When the process changes, the SOP changes with it.
And this right here, this is a huge mental shift. The main customer for an SOP isn't the auditor who shows up once a year. It's the technician on the line, the scientist in the lab who uses it every single day. It's a tool designed to empower them, to make their job clear, and to help them do it right.
So how does this single document type fit into the whole universe of quality? Let's connect it to something called the Quality Management System, or QMS. That's the entire framework a company builds to guarantee quality.
And this is the perfect way to think about it. The big quality management system sets the high-level goals, the policies, the big-picture expectations for quality. But how do you get those grand ideas to actually happen on the factory floor every day? The SOP, it's that bridge. It's what turns a high-level expectation into a simple daily habit.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. We've seen how absolutely critical this is for making medicine. But what about other high-stakes fields? Think about aviation, nuclear energy, even the code that runs our financial systems. What other parts of our world could be safer and more reliable if they had the same intense commitment to getting the procedure right every single time?